Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with my next Pokemon Sun and Moon competitive discussion video slash guide, how-to, whatever you want to call it. This time we're going to be talking about Pyukumuku, the water type Pokemon. Now this Pokemon is very interesting, to say the least. It has 0 attacking moves, but it has so many support moves and 2 great abilities. One being Innards Out, which is a new ability, which kind of works like Destiny Bond. Let's say I knock you out from full. Basically the user who knocked it out loses the amount of HP equal to the amount of HP that Pyukumuku was at. And the other ability is of course Unaware, which does not care about your stat boost. So 2 pretty solid abilities and a lot of great support moves. I do want to say one thing about this Pokemon. Always run on it. Always run on it. Baton Pass and Recover. Baton Pass gives you way too much momentum. A lot of people are scared to knock out this Pokemon just because of Innards Out ability. And Recover is your form of recovery. So always have, no matter on what set, I think always having Baton Pass and Recover is the best option on this thing. As at least 2 of your moves. The other moves really have to do with what you want the set to do. Same thing with your Eevee Spreads, but Baton Pass and Recover are important. They're a must. Now, the ability, of course, is up to you. But first off, we have my favorite set from Pyukumuku, the Z Memento set, which consists of Baton Pass, Memento, Recover, and Toxic, with the Darkinium Z, the Z Crystal for Dark. And what this does is it allows you to Z Memento, which still drops your opponent's attack and special attack, yeah, but also restores the HP of the Pokemon that you're Mementoing into up to full. And I've paired this with Pinsir and Magnezone before. Magnezone is Trap Skarmory, and then Pinsir, or as well as Celesteela, and then Pinsir to set up Sweep. I actually did a live with my boy Gator where my Pinsir was at 1 HP and I Z-Mementoed into it and it was able to just sweep at the end. So I think this is one of its best sets. It's one of the best Mementos out there. I run Innards Out on it. You can run Unaware. I like Innards Out though because if your team is weak to, let's say, Tapu Koko, sometimes if I even don't want a Memento but I want to get rid of a Pokemon that also threatens my sweeper, in that case it would be Pinsir, I just throw out my Pyukumuku, and if my opponent touches it with like a Volt Switch or Thunderbolt, it'll get knocked out, and I take out 314 of the Tapu Koko's HP. So this set basically consists of Baton Passing around to gain momentum, recovering up to get your HP. Toxic is your status move, just so you can wear down Pokemon. But the main thing about this set is Mementoing into a potential sweeper to win, because not only does it lower your opponent's stats when you Memento, but it also recovers that Pokemon's HP back up to full. So I love this set on Pyukumuku. I think it's one of its best support options, but that's not to say that it doesn't have other ones, because again, it has a ton. Look at its move pool. We'll look at its move pool right now. There's nothing but options right here. I guess if you consider counter an attacking move, because technically it does do damage, then that's like your attacking move right there. And maybe Bide. Those are the only 2 attacking moves it has, if you consider them that. Anyway, next up we have Dual Screens. Now, this takes advantage of the fact that Pyukumuku does learn Light Screen and Reflect, on top of the fact that it has great recovery and Baton Pass for Momentum. Now, on this set, you are going to be running the Light Clay. Light Clay extends the turns of Light Screen and Reflect from 5 turns to 8, and again, you can run physically defensive. It really is just catering to your team. I've had a lot more luck with physically defensive Pyukumuku than special defensive. I just feel like it eats up a lot more hits, especially because typically a lot of boosters are physical attackers that this boy can just take on. Also, you can keep Innards Out on it. Unaware is also an option. It's just completely up to you and what you think your team does best with. But Light Screen Reflect, it is a great dual screener. You do have to be careful about Taunt. But just having access to reliable recovery as well as Baton Pass for momentum, like you can just send out this Pokemon. You don't even have to go for Light Screen or Reflect. I watched the live where Gator just used Baton Pass every single time he sent this Pokemon in, because it does force switches, and that's actually still why I like Innards Out. Innards Out is like that last ditch effort to get rid of your opponent's Pokemon that can be a threat to you. So I love Innards Out on this Pokemon, but Unaware is definitely a viable set, which is why I have it on this Psych Up, or Psy-Up, whatever you want to call it, on Pyukumuku. And what this set does is it has Unaware, so it does not care about your opponent Dragon Dancing up. It doesn't care about them Swords Dancing up. It doesn't care about the the Calm Minds at all. And what you can do is Psy Up or Psych Up and get their boost, Toxic them, and either Baton Pass them if they didn't boost speed, because we are playing under Smogon rules right now. So if they didn't boost speed, you can Baton Pass them. So if they Calm Mind boosted up, you can Baton Pass to a Sweeper. If they Swords Dance up, you can Baton Pass or Belly Drum up. Obviously, Unaware does not care about that. So what you'll be doing is you'll be able to take the hit as if it's neutral and Toxic them, wear them down. And on the turn, they can die to Toxic. If they're not a Steel type, obviously. You can Baton Pass that out to your own Pokemon that can get rid of them or deal with them. Now, I think Unaware works best on this because, again, you don't care about their boost while you are stealing their boosts at the same time. And again, Unaware can work with any of these sets. I think with Z Memento, I love Innards Out a lot better. Mainly because the Pokemon eats up any hit anyway, even if it's boosted. The only attacks that are really knocking this thing out are like Thunderbolts from Tapu Koko or really strong Specs, Stab, super effective hits, whether that be Grass or Electric. But outside of that, it's not really going down to any one hit. And I really do like Innards Out with the Pokemon. But again, you can definitely run Unaware. It really is preference. Same thing with the Eevee Spreads. Before we actually go on, Eevee Spreads are very much preference to what you want it to do. If your team is weak to, let's say, Charizard X, right? Just to give an example of what would happen post Pokebank. Let's say your team is weak to Charizard X, and you want this thing to be able to take Dragon Claws or Outrages. Obviously, you're going to want to go physically defensive, and then you can just recover off the damage, Toxic that thing, wear it down. If you're running the Psy Up set or Psych Up set, I keep saying it in two different ways. I'm pretty sure it's Psych Up, but you know, potato, same thing. It doesn't matter. If you're running the Psych Up set, you just Toxic it, you recover, you stall it out, and then if it's boosted with if it's boosted like a Swords Dance or a Dragon Dance or whatnot, though again, if we're playing on the Smogon rules, you can't Baton Pass Dragon Dances because it boosts the speed plus another stat. But if you are playing on like Battle Spot or anything else, you could definitely just Baton Pass that. But what you would do is just wear it down. But obviously in that case, it would be more physically defensive. But if you wanted to be taking on weaker hits from, let's say, Aegislash or like Alakazam, or you just wanted to be taking on special attacks in general, I also just like physically defensive because there's strong mons like high jump kicking Pheromosa running around, as well as like Buzzwole just running around. So physically defensive allows you to at least eat up one hit or two from those, and with Baton Pass around. Like I said, the key points of this Pokemon is the fact that it has so many great support options, and you can just Baton Pass and pretty much just have so much momentum. As I mentioned earlier, there was the example of my boy Gator, who literally clicked Baton Pass for about 40 minutes in his Showdown Live. Like, I've used this Pokemon, and I've used it alongside him, and I've watched him use it as well. And he literally just clicked Baton Pass for 40 minutes in the Showdown Live. And this mon was always able to force switches because some people were scared to attack it because of Innards Out. Other people couldn't attack it because of Unaware. And also, you don't know what ability it has. So, yeah, this set really does cater to what you need it to do for your team, but I typically like physically defensive because a lot of boosting mons are physical attackers. Yeah, there's Calm Mind and Quiver Dance boosting mons, but a lot of them typically are like physical attackers with Swords Dance or things like that. So the next up is the Soak set, which pretty much just takes Psych Up from the Pyukumuku and I love the name, by the way. It takes the Psych Up set and just adds Soak on it. Soak is also another option with Unaware. Soak allows you to poison pretty much anything. If you go for Soak, it becomes a water type. So a Steel type would become a water type. A Poison type would become a water type, and then you could Toxic it. Now, that's not to say that your opponent won't switch right away. If I see someone soaking me, I'm automatically thinking, oh man, a status move is coming next, especially when you're facing a Pokemon with nothing but support options. However, that does force switches once again, which just goes into or ties into the fact that Baton Pass is so good on this Pokemon. It's forcing so many switches, and what Soak does is it would change your opponent to water type. They're going to be scared of the Toxic. They're going to switch out, and you don't even have to Toxic that turn. And even if they're boosting mon, you have Unaware as well. So you don't even care if they start boosting. Even if you get the Baton Pass wrong, right, and they boost again, or they Swords Dance, or anything like that. Even if they get even if you get that wrong, like, you can just come in again. You have Unaware, so you don't care about their boost. They're not boosted at all. But Baton Pass just gives you so much momentum on this set as well. Now, there are other options. One of them, these aren't all one set. I'm just giving you some options. One of them is the Mental Herb. Mental Herb protects you from Taunt for one turn, which is pretty useful on a Pokemon that can only go for attacks that can be taunted outside of like Bide and Counter. So it's pretty useful on this Pokemon. The other option is Counter. The fact that it has really good base Defenses, counter is definitely an option to be able to take physical attacks and smack something back with double the power. Whereas Curse is also another option on a Baton Pass set because it doesn't boost the speed, it lowers the speed, so you can Baton Pass Curses around. And with Unaware tying that in, you don't even have to run Unaware with that set, because if you're cursing up alongside a Dragon Dancer, you're going to take the hits anyway because you're canceling it out every single time you're cursing. But you can run Unaware with that set and curse and just Baton Pass to a sweeper. Maybe you can run a White Herb on the Pokemon that you're Baton Passing to as well, which would still give them the attack and defense raises of Curse, but it would cancel out the speed drop, and they can come in like at max speed, maybe like Baton Pass into like a Sharpedo or something with speed boost. And Rain Dance is also another option which you can run with a Damp Rock, and that will give you multiple turns of rain. However, in this generation where there are Pokemon like Pelipper and Politoed, all that can start the rain, that's really up to you if you want to run that. But these are just the other options that it has. I mean, it has a ton of options. I don't think Pain Split is ever necessary when you have Recover. Again, Rest Sleep Talk, I don't think it's also a good option when you have Recover. You can substitute Baton Pass. That's also another option. Not a big fan of Taunt when, look how slow you are. You have 5 base speed. You actually have the number 5 base speed, which is 15 with like 0 IVs. Let's make it Brave Nature too. Let's see how low we can get this. What is that, like? Gonna be like 11, 14, 13? Okay, great. 13 speed. So I don't think Taunt is a good option, but it does stop potentially like Skarmory and Hippowdon from Whirlwinding you out, because Whirlwind is negative priority, and if you taunt them, they can't phase you out, which means you get a Taunt Pass. But outside of that, really, I don't think there's any very many other options. Venom Drench is cool if you like toxic your opponent because you lower their attack, special attack and speed by 1. But that's, that's really all that I think Pyukumuku has to offer. I think it's a really, really, really cool mon. The fact that it just gains so much momentum and you don't really know what ability it has. I love the innards out ability. Like I said, there's been games where, oh crap, my team wasn't prepped for this Pokemon. Let me just throw out my Pyukumuku and let it die and take down my opponent's Pokemon with me. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Definitely expect a live with this Pokemon, as well as maybe another Showdown live today featuring another Pokemon. But yeah. Feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Links are down below. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.